Hello there, and welcome back to Coast Watch Football. My name is Lockie, and this is the place where we talk all things A-League, and we are doing a season review for Melbourne Victory, one of the more successful teams in the A-League this season. And I'm excited to talk about Melbourne Victory, man. There's a lot of positives when it comes to the season they had this year. Of course, the big narrative, the storyline surrounding Melbourne Victory in the past 12 months. Picking up the wooden spoon in their worst ever season in the club's history last year, and turning it around big time, bringing in Tony Popovic, bringing in some fantastic players, and almost making it to the grand final. But overall, a fantastic season where they did pick up some silverware in the FFA Cup. And look, heading into this season, of course, Tony Popovic. I mean, we have to look back at that acquisition of bringing in Tony Popovic, the perfect signing for the position Melbourne Victory were in. And when we said that pre-season in some videos as well, we talked about how Popovic has experience, as we know, turning new teams, rebuilding squads and turning them into successful A-League teams. And he was smart enough to know as well. I mean, of course, Tony Popovic is a fantastic tactician, but he knew the areas and what the right players to bring in. And you look at some of the big names they were able to bring in, especially in defence: Jason Guerrier, Jason Davidson, Matt Sporanovic, who seems to follow Popovic everywhere, Roderick Miranda, former Wolverhampton defender as well, and across in the attacking line as well. I mean, the likes of Nick D'Agostino, who had a fantastic season up top for Melbourne Victory, and Josh Brillante, the new Victory captain, who was super consistent in midfield. I mean, not only were those great signings and had a really major impact on Victory season, but even the players that already were there, when you look at the likes of Marco Rojas, Ben Falami, Jake Brimmer, all those guys had really good seasons. Popovic turned them into top-class A-League level players. Of course, they all had the ability to do that, but under Popovic, it really clicked. And when you look at how the season transpired for them, started off really, really well. That FFA Cup run was fantastic, and they beat Central Coast Mariners in that Cup final there. And there was an interesting point just after the final, if you remember, where for almost like a month, they were like losing games where we didn't expect them to lose, and they were on a little bit of a rut. That's the only sort of downer for Melbourne Victory this season. Overall, it was the positives outweigh the negatives for Victory, of course. But after that, man, I mean, the run home was fantastic for Popovic's side. I think it was 15 games undefeated. They just looked so strong. Not only were they clinical in attack, but just really, really, really solid at the back. I thought Roderick Miranda was fantastic. For me, one of the signings of the season. I thought the Portuguese centre-back was superb, super solid. And when it came to the finals, a lot of people, I was tipping them, even weeks before the finals. I was like, Melbourne Victory going to go far deep in the finals, and they're going to make it to a grand final. I was expecting a Melbourne Derby grand final. I think as a lot of you guys probably were too. Of course, I mean, they just stumbled at that. I was about to say stumbled at the final hurdle there, but the hurdle before the final hurdle, Western United. I think when you look at that semi-final tie, I mean, it was set up for Victory. On that second leg, though, Western United just had arguably their best game of the season. Not only were they clinical in attack, but in defence, Western were just impenetrable on that night, bar that fantastic Jake Brimmer free kick. But look, for Melbourne Victory, I don't think... Look, Victory fans will be gutted, of course, that they didn't make it to grand final day. They've been to plenty of other grand finals in the past. But there's so many positives and so much excitement knowing that under Popovic, with this really fantastic squad that they have, the future is looking very bright for Melbourne Victory. And the squad, I mean, one of the things that I want to state too is that for me, Melbourne Victory had the best squad depth, well and truly, when you look across the A-League this season. I mean, even more so than Melbourne City and the other top teams up there as well. Melbourne Victories, I mean, when you look at the players who weren't really featuring, they were on the bench. I mean, Robbie Cruz was injured for much of the season. Chris Economides was relegated to a bench role for much of the campaign. Steph Negro, who was a regular starting centre-back for Central Coast Mariners, who finished third last season in the A-League. He was sitting on the bench just about every week too. There were good players who were missing games. D'Agostino and Margiotta were sort of changing as well. Victory have a luxury that not a lot of other teams in the A-League have, and that is that if someone gets injured, they've got a top-class player just to come straight in, and only a handful of teams in the competition probably have that. But still, I mean, credit to Melbourne Victory. It's nothing. It's take nothing away from the job that Tony Popovic has done. Again, the side picked up a wooden spoon. Victory were terrible last year. We know that. Victory fans know that. And Popovic, I mean, again, I'll just reiterate, the perfect signing to bring in. Brought in the right players and performed so well. Only thing that was missing was an A-League championship, which I think is going to be the goal for Victory next season, especially knowing that they came to the semi-final. If they maintain the same group of players for next season, that's the interesting thing. Who sticks around? If is anyone departing? What areas do they need to strengthen, if any, Melbourne Victory? It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the off-season for the Victorian club. What do you guys think? Do you reckon Victory are able to win the championship next season, or will some of the other teams towards that top six strengthen too much and overpower them? Will they get to know Melbourne Victory a little bit better and know how they play and make sure they counter them for next season? It'll be interesting to see how that goes, that's for sure. Guys, my name is Lockie. This is Coast Watch Football. If you have enjoyed this video and you want to show your support, hit that like button. Helps me out a whole lot. And if you're not subscribed already, feel free to do so if you want to stick around for more A-League content. We're doing season reviews for every single A-League team here on the channel. So check the channel. I might have done yours, or your team might be coming up very, very shortly. We've only got a few teams remaining. We're up to the last few standing in the A-League competition. Guys, have a good one. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later.